Let's review. Look at the pictures. Say the word after me. Volcano. Van. Violin. Vulture. Vest. Vegetables. One more time. As I point, read the word. V is for. 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 Great. These are the pictures and the words that start with the initial letter V. What's the sound of the letter V again? Say 3 times. V, V, V. Alright. Now let's have this short song as we review and we continue the letter V. I want everybody to listen, sing along, and guess the picture.
All of the things that we can see are words that always begin with V. So if you're ready, then play with me. Play the game of the V. It's a Viking.
Say the word. Viking.
All of the things that we can see are words that always begin with V. So if you're ready, then play with me. Play the game of the V. It's a van.
Say it. Van.
All of the things that we can see are words that always begin with V. So if you're ready, then play with me. The game of the V. It's a violin.
Say the word. Violin.
All of the things that we can see are words that always begin with V. So if you're ready, then play with me. Play the game of the V.
What's the picture?
It's a vacuum cleaner.
Vacuum. Say it.
All of the things that we can see are words that always begin with V. So if you're ready, then play with me. Play the game of the V.
What's the picture?
It's a vulture.
Vulture. Say it.
All of the things that we can see are words that always begin with V. So if you're ready, then play with me. Play the game of the V.
Guess the picture. What's this?
It's a Valentine.
Valentine.
All of the things that we can see are words that always begin with V. So if you're ready, then play with me. Play the game of the V.
Last one.
They are vegetables.
Are these vegetables? Here you go. Now let's have some activity for your listening and speaking. This is all about the letter V. Let's go back and read the words that we had learned previously. Listen. Viola and her violin. Viola lives with her mom and dad. They live in a valley. She can play violin. Her dad has a violet car. Her mom grows vegetables in the garden. One day, she sees a smoke in the sky. "What's that?" she asks. "The volcano is getting mad, Viola. You need to play your violin," The volcano suddenly calmed down when she starts playing her violin. Now I'm gonna be asking you, what are the words that you remember as I read the story with the letter V? Can you give me the words that start with the letter V in the story? What's the name of the girl? Viola. Right. What has she got? She's got a violin. Very good. What has her dad have? A violet car. All right. How about her mom? What has she grown in the garden? Vegetables. Very well. What happened to the volcano? It was mad. So what did Viola do? All right. She played her violin. And that's it. So we have the words with the letter V. We have volcano, violin, viola, violet, vegetables, and what else? Can you add more of the letter V? Your turn to think. Now let's move on to our next story for today. Our story is about the day the vegetables came to school. But before I read this story, I want you to remember the words that you might encounter as I read the story. Look at your screen. Look. First word is the word strange. If I say strange, I mean this is difficult to explain and it's kinda unusual. They look different. Strange. What's the word again? Strange. Now say it after me. The vegetables look strange. Your turn. Strange. Say it again. Alright. Next. Say wonder. Wonder. If I say wonder, I mean I'm a bit confused and I'm thinking about something. Wonder. Say it after me. He wanders as he walks. Your turn. Alright. Next word is parade. Parade means to walk around. Now say it. They have a long parade. Your turn. And the last is the word delighted. It means overjoyed. If you feel so much happiness, you feel delighted. Say it. He feels delighted. Your turn. Alright. Now I want you to listen as I read the story. I'm gonna be asking you a question after this. Our story for today is the day the vegetables came to school. One morning, not so long ago, Raju was on his way to school as usual. He loved school and was walking along happily, looking forward to the day. That was when he saw something very strange. Ahead of him were some unusual shapes heading towards the school themselves, school bags slung over their shoulders.
As he came closer to the shapes, Raju wondered if they were vegetables, the kind he had seen so often in the market. He rubbed his eyes in disbelief. The vegetables looked fresh and healthy. They were marching towards school like little soldiers, one behind the other. Raju walked faster and faster. He was full of curiosity about his new schoolmates and wanted a closer look at them. At long last, Raju caught up with the shapes marching ahead of him. He stared at their faces, mouth open in surprise. Just as he had guessed, the shapes were really vegetables. Potatoes, sweet potatoes, yams, and all the roots vegetables he had seen in the market. What? Is it really you? The question popped out of his mouth before he realized it. The vegetables did not reply. They just looked at each other and smiled, amused at his amazement. "Where are you going?" asked Raju in wonder. "Where else?" replied the vegetables, speaking together as one. "We're on our way to your school." Raju nodded. He didn't know what to say. He continued on his way to school. A little while later, Raju looked back to see if the vegetables were still around. That was when he had his second surprise of the morning. A parade of green leafy vegetables had now joined the root vegetables. They were also marching towards his school, their school bags over their shoulders. Now that he was part of the parade himself, Raju's joy knew no bounds. No one he knew had ever gone to school as part of a vegetable parade before. By and by, the parade reached the school. All the children came to the door to watch the strange procession. Their mouths fell open at the sight. Their eyes were round with astonishment. Raju's teacher came forward to welcome them. "Good boy," she said, patting Raju on the back. Raju was delighted. "Thank you, teacher," he said happily. The other children clapped and cheered. The teacher left, but someone continued to pat him. And quite hard too. Raju opened his eyes. His mother was shaking him awake, saying, "Wake up, Raju! You're going to be late for school." Raju was fully awake now. "I've been dreaming," he said to himself. "What a strange dream I've had." Raju got out of bed, smiling to himself. He would have to worry if he wanted to get to school on time.
Now for the question number 1, I want you to answer. Who loves going to school? Number 2, what did Raju see along his way to school? What did he feel when he saw those strange vegetables? Where were the vegetables heading? Why was Raju wondering? Was he feel afraid? What's your answer? Which part of the story do you like? Tell me. I like it too. See you again next time. Bye everyone.